So some new figures out today, record-breaking figures, in fact, and I wrote about this over at heaver.news. So do go and check out my newsletter. And these were the new net migration figures. Absolutely astonishing levels now of net migration. Before I get to that though, let's just look back to not that long ago when David Cameron was pledging to reduce net migration down to the tens of thousands. Of course, he couldn't do it inside the EU with EU open borders. And in fact, at the time was quoted there as saying we would be a better, stronger country if we had net migration in the tens of thousands rather than the hundreds of thousands. Now that policy was continued by Theresa May, who also failed to bring it down inside, of course, the European Union with EU open borders. Post-Brexit, of course, the British government, having taken back control, now have the ability to reduce migration and have totally failed to and have chosen not to on the most staggering scale. So the Office for National Statistics revealing today that in the year ending June 2022, so in 12 months, total long-term immigration was an estimated 1.1 million in a year. So the net migration overall, as a follow-on from that, was estimated to be more than 5,504,000. Now that is despite, of course, 87% of Conservative voters in a recent YouGov survey saying they think immigration over the last decade has been too high. And there were murmurings already before these figures came out that some Conservative MPs very unhappy that the government have allowed this to happen. But of course, leading the charge on this, slamming the government's failure to cut net migration and indeed oversee record high levels was Nigel Farage, who said these net migration figures are hard to take in. 500,000 is nearly double the previous record. The Tories deserve to be wiped out. He also released a video on this, talking about this today, guys, but I want to know from you in the comments below. What do you make of this? Is it going to affect the likelihood of you voting Conservative at the next election? It looks to me that the Brexiteer coalition that backed the Tories in 2019, that won Boris Johnson's party that big majority, in many ways, that voter coalition is being thrown away by the Tories. Watch this from Nigel and let me know if you agree with what he has to say here.
Wait for it. This is hard to believe. The Conservatives have been in power for 12 years. They promised us that election after election, they get net migration down to, remember, tens of thousands a year. Then we had Brexit, taking back control of our borders. And in 2019, they got a massive majority from people thinking they'd reduce net migration. Well, the figures are out just a few minutes ago. Net migration in the last year is nearly double the all-time high. It's 500,000. So if you want a GP appointment, forget it. You want your kids to get a house, forget it. You want to drive around the country on a Friday to go somewhere, forget it. The roads will be full and they'll all be dangerous, smart motorways. Mass immigration into Britain running at record levels, diminishing the quality of our lives and the integrity of our communities. This party is a disgrace.